Welcome to my story. I was born in Baden, Switzerland. Some 25 years later, I had a job as a recruitment consultant in this city. A challenging but also enriching task in which I learned a great deal. Today, I return at least once a year for my optician appointment. I grew up in Staufen with my younger brother, the children of a kindergarten teacher and an engineer. I loved spending time with my friends, reading, listening to music, and losing myself in small challenges, like solving a Rubik's Cube step by step. I attended upper secondary school in Lenzburg, the capital of our district. Aarau is the capital of the canton where I live. This is the school where Albert Einstein and I graduated from, roughly 100 years apart. There are still reminders about this around town. There's also a particular Starbucks in Aarau that holds a special place in my story. I was part of the team that opened it, responsible for recruiting and training the staff. Years later, it made headlines for a very different reason. One of the most notorious criminals in Swiss history, a quadruple murderer from a neighboring village, was arrested there. I began my career in Switzerland's financial industry, which is Zurich, working in asset management at a private bank. But before long, I felt drawn to something else: human resources. In Zug, at Landis & Gyr, I stepped into that field during a time of major change and uncertainty. I supported employees through departures, recruited new talent, and helped shape a cultural transformation, all while studying for my HR certification. It was intense. Then life shifted again. A relationship ended. Everything fell apart. So I made a bold decision. I moved to San Diego to follow a long-held dream. I studied at UCSD, surrounded by people from all over the world, and realized how privileged my life in Switzerland had been. But I still wanted more. I applied for jobs, came close to staying, and then came 9/11. 1 week later, I was back home. Still, I never regretted trying. I rebuilt my life, got married, and found joy in work I truly loved, from Movenpick ice cream to Starbucks coffee. As part of my immersion, I spent time in Seattle, meeting colleagues at headquarters and learning the barista craft from the ground up. To this day, I'm still in touch with some of the friends I made there. I loved being part of the growing Starbucks family, but when I became pregnant, something I had wished for a long time, I made another choice. I stepped away from my career to focus on my son. And once again, life opened a new door. A former colleague offered me a part-time role with Swiss International Airlines, complete with an airport ID that gave me access to the tarmac, and even discounted flights as a bonus. Colin attended the nicest daycare centers imaginable, right at the airport. My husband's business partner unexpectedly died. That's when he asked me to join his IT company. For the first time, I lived and worked in the same place and had time for arts, crafts, and baking. But then Colin started his ice hockey career, and soon we were driving back and forth to practices and games all across the country. I began filming those moments and started writing for my blog, and later for our village magazine. This is where I stand today. And now you're part of my story too. Thank you.